In recent months, the world has once again been shaken by a series of events that raise the question of whether we are heading toward another global crisis. From geopolitical tensions to energy price volatility, from financial instability to the looming threat of climate disasters, the signs are becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. And so, a haunting question returns to the surface: will history repeat itself? History reminds us that global crises are not new. In 1929, the world experienced the Great Depression, a catastrophic collapse of the stock market in the United States that spread rapidly across continents. Tens of millions lost their jobs, major banks failed, and international trade ground to a halt. Decades later, in 1973, the oil embargo triggered a global energy crisis, pushing energy prices to historic highs and sparking inflation around the world. More recently, in 2008, the collapse of the U.S. housing market plunged the global financial system into chaos, wiping out trillions of dollars in wealth and leaving millions without homes or work. Today, unsettling parallels are emerging. Inflation has surged in multiple regions, forcing central banks to raise interest rates. Currencies are under pressure, while oil, gas, and food prices remain unstable. Political conflicts and wars have disrupted trade routes, straining global supply chains. At the same time, climate change has added an unpredictable layer to the crisis, with natural disasters destroying infrastructure, food production, and communities at an alarming rate. Beyond economics, geopolitics is intensifying uncertainty. Rivalries among global powers are escalating. Disputes over trade, technology, and military dominance are pushing nations into a climate of mistrust. Regional conflicts threaten to spill over into larger confrontations, and the possibility of a new Cold War looms large. The atmosphere is one of suspicion, polarization, and fear. But unlike in the past, today's crisis is multidimensional. We are not just facing an economic downturn or a political conflict. Instead, we face a convergence of crises happening at once: economic instability, environmental disasters, technological vulnerabilities, and deepening social divides. A single cyberattack could cripple financial systems in seconds. A prolonged drought could spark a global food shortage. A military escalation could disrupt energy supplies for billions. The world has become more interconnected, and with that, more fragile. So, is history about to repeat itself? The answer may be yes, but not in exactly the same way. History rarely repeats in identical form, but it often rhymes. The same patterns of financial fragility, political miscalculation, and social inequality that fueled past crises are visible again today. The lesson from history is clear: when systems are fragile and societies are divided, even a small spark can ignite a massive collapse. The Great Depression, the oil crisis, and the financial meltdown of 2008 all began with what seemed like manageable problems, but quickly spiraled out of control because underlying structures were weak. That warning is more relevant now than ever. And yet, there is also reason for cautious optimism. Humanity today has tools that did not exist in the past. Technology enables us to anticipate risks faster. Global communication allows information to spread instantly, creating opportunities for cooperation and shared solutions. Awareness of climate change has pushed nations, albeit slowly, toward renewable energy and sustainable practices. Still, optimism alone will not prevent disaster. It requires decisive action from world leaders. Economic systems must be redesigned to prioritize stability and fairness, rather than short-term profit. Green energy investments must accelerate to reduce dependency on fragile fossil fuel markets. International cooperation must be strengthened to manage conflicts, regulate technology, and address the growing refugee crises. For ordinary people, resilience is equally vital. Every global crisis eventually reaches households. Rising food costs, job insecurity, and higher living expenses are already affecting millions. Preparing for uncertainty, by saving where possible, diversifying skills, and staying informed, can help individuals weather the storm. The reality is that global crises cannot be fully avoided, but their impact can be reduced. The future depends on whether governments, institutions, and citizens learn from history or ignore it. If leaders repeat the mistakes of denial, greed, and division, the consequences may be devastating. If, however, humanity chooses cooperation, innovation, and fairness, history may not have to repeat itself in the worst ways. Ultimately, the world stands at a crossroads. The next decade could bring a repeat of devastating crises, or it could be the beginning of a more resilient and sustainable global system. The choice is not predetermined, it depends on actions taken today. The threat is real, the signs are visible. But history is also a teacher. The past does not have to define the future, unless we allow it to. The question remains, will history repeat itself, or will humanity rise above its mistakes and write a different story? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the world can no longer afford complacency.